Good morning, all. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to the Symmetry team for inviting me here today, and also well done to Owen and to Maria and Deborah on your presentations. You've definitely given us food for thought already this morning, so thank you for that. So I am the Digital Information Manager with Framespace Solutions, so I digitize and automate processes in the company to create lean and efficient information flows, and I'm also responsible for the overall integration of software systems as well throughout the project lifecycle. So before we get started, I would like to give you a bit of a background on Framespace. We design, manufacture and install light gauge steel systems for residential and commercial projects. We were set up in 2016 and we moved to Longford in 2020. Right before this little thing called the COVID-19 pandemic happened. Like all manufacturing and construction companies, we were unable to operate during this time, but our management at Framespace used this time wisely to create policies, procedures and plans for when the pandemic was over. And in addition to this, we carried out numerous tests on our system build-ups, which in time gave us much more of a competitive edge for when we started tendering for projects after COVID-19. So, not a very technical person, and I always feel that a picture paints 1,000 words, so I am going to just show you a couple of pictures here of projects that we have successfully handed over. And the first one here is KCR Apartments in Kimmage in Dublin. This was a 2D panelised system which we installed on site. The bottom left-hand photo here seems to be synonymous now with modular construction in Ireland. That was taken as we were installing a 2D panelised system. It shows the build-up of the brick slip and also the window installation there as well. The next project there is Riverside Green in Kilcullen in County Kildare. So we were the main contractor on this project, and we carried out full turnkey works. It consisted of 32 terrace houses, 24 apartments and 8 masonettes. And lastly, I'd just like to show you Drumhearney Woodland Hideaway as well. So this was based in Leitrim Village. Our client on this project had a fantastic vision to develop a 16 chalet holiday village in Leitrim. These chalets were manufactured off-site in a 2D panelised format, and then the roofs were dropped in a volumetric section, or sections, I should say. Also worth noting, these chalets were built on screw pile solutions. As you can see from the pictures, the chalets were situated in the middle of forestry. So there was very little disruption to the natural habitat during the accelerated construction programme. I would like to show you some pictures of our 3D volumetrics as well, but we are currently tied into NDAs, so hopefully this is something that I'll be able to share with you on our socials in the coming months. So stay tuned for that. Just a little bit about certification. So as I had mentioned earlier, whilst the manufacturing and construction sectors were unable to physically work during COVID-19, we were working hard in the background on progressing our certification. So we carried out extensive tests in the following areas: in structural performance, acoustic and fire. And in addition to this, we have carried out a CWCT test on our system build-up. Now, for those of you who don't know what a CWCT test is, like myself up until a couple of months ago, I would urge you to pop over to our LinkedIn channel, and you will see a short video just showing you the lengths that the modular manufacturing industry go to in terms of testing compared to traditional construction. And lastly, we are also ISO 9001 certified and EN 1090 certified. Now on to the good stuff, onto the software. So as a modular company, our founders understood that the process had to be fully digitized. We were using BIM 360, but we needed to track more data on the production floor. We engaged with Crest Solutions in Cork, who created our in-house manufacturing operations management system, known as MOM, because the other is a mouthful. This system all allows us to fully track and trace every panel from steel coil delivery right through to install and handover. Following the implementation of a completely digitized production floor, we decided to focus our attention on digitizing the construction process. Here we engaged with ProCAD, now Symmetry, and we upgraded to Autodesk Construction Cloud. Autodesk Construction Cloud's functionality on site is exceptional and has transformed our install processes and effectively made our construction sites paperless. I will go into more detail on this later in the presentation, but just to mention, we design our steel models on Vertex, and we upload these to the Autodesk Construction Cloud. All these systems allowed us to grow quicker, leaner, and more efficient. Companies, especially like modular construction companies, cannot rely on just one system to run all the departments, and as such, it's my opinion that the best companies focus on the integration of digital systems in order to get the best results. And I will show you a little bit more on Power BI later in the presentation as well. So this graphic here gives you a better indication of how we utilize the softwares we just spoke about. So the coordination of all of these models is carried out by my colleague Valentina Luan, who is our lead design coordinator. And then they are approved then by our head of design and engineering, Paddy Mahan. In the next slide, we'll go into the digital information flows per department in more detail, but this just gives you a quick snapshot. When tendering, we generally receive PDFs that were designed for traditional construction. So our team then turned these PDFs into 3D models based on the build-ups that we can offer. From there, our team then extracts a BOM, a bill of materials, and the commercial department uses that along with the client spec, any existing site surveys, to create a tender package. And they also look at the long lead items then as well, just to see if it may impact the construction program that we would provide in the tender pack. When a PO is received for the project, we hold a commercial to design kickoff meeting. So basically, it's just a handover of all the information that was agreed. Following this, we will carry out an internal design team kickoff meeting where we will review the pre-tender model, create a deliverables tracker, and depending on the project, we may need to also create a planning condition tracker if we are doing full turnkey works. When completed, we carry out design team meetings with external consultants, structural and M&E. And we use the key deliverables tracker then for these meetings. As you'll see from the diagram here, we will agree finishes with the client, and also we will discuss again the long lead items. We will receive the structural calcs and schematics, and we will review the models then and send feedback to the design team. Now, here you will see that these models are constantly reviewed then as well by my colleague Valentina until we reach the design freeze, the most important milestone. So one of the most important milestones in modular manufacturing is placing an order for windows and doors. So following this, we start detailing the project on both the architectural and light gauge steel design. Again, my colleague Valentina reviews these models numerous times, clash detects, and sends the feedback back to the design team. Eventually, we will get to the IFC stage, where we will create XML files, NC files, and panel drawings. And these are for the production floor for our Parsec system. So the XML file, that creates all the jobs on our Parsec system. So it'll create the actual jobs at the production station. The NC files create the actual steel panels on the Pinnacle machines, or our cold rolling steel machines. And panel drawings then will be used then by the production employees on the floor. We are capable of tracking every panel through the factory on our production system. Each station has a quality hold point and a unique quality checklist, which the production employees must complete before being able to move on to the next panel. Depending on the panel, production employees will take photos. For example, insulation is generally photographed in walls, floors, and roof panels because they're generally concealed with boards at a later stage. In addition to the quality aspect of Parsec system, it also records productivity and pause breaks as well. So recently, we drilled into the data given on pause breaks, and it was clear from the time that was being lost on the floor that employees were held up by waiting on gantry cranes to move the panels off the actual tables they were working off the workstations. And as a result, we promoted one employee to just man the gantry cranes and ensure that there was as little wait periods as possible, which instantly increased efficiency on the production floor. We also raise NCRs and snags on Autodesk, and I will provide a little bit more information later in the slide deck on that. And lastly, we extract as-built drawings and QC summary from ACC and Parsec to form part of the handover pack then to the client. For those of you who are not familiar with modular construction, the key takeaway from this is milestones for modular construction occur a lot earlier in the process than traditional construction. So most large items must be approved or agreed before reaching that all-important design freeze. As stated previously, we reached out to Symmetry back in 2021 to see how we could digitize the construction process, and we decided Autodesk Construction Cloud, or ACC, was the way forward for us in Framespace. I would like to give you a preview of how we utilize the functionality of ACC to streamline the digital information flows in design, install, and quality. Here I have a screenshot showing the typical project folder structure. We've utilized the project template functionality within Autodesk Construction Cloud so that we can create a new project with the same folder structure and permission types within 20 seconds. This streamlines the whole project setup phase in design. In addition to this, having a carbon copy folder structure on ACC means that it's easier for users to find the file that they are looking for. In addition to this, having a predetermined permission structure in the files area through the use of this template, we can also carry over review structures and predetermined permission structures with that also. It just streamlines the whole process of setting up a project. For the purposes of this presentation, I created a project called Fairmount Properties. This screen recording here, taken on my iPhone just a couple of days ago, shows how quick it is to use Autodesk Construction Cloud. This video will show you how we raise an NCR. Again, we were happy that we could raise the issue on the app, and it was easy for us to use, but we felt we were not getting enough information on that data, so we decided to drill down again into that, and we reached out to Symmetry, and Sean showed us how we could set up categories to the issue process, which allowed us to drill into the data a little bit further. So we have created drop-downs for the departments of the NCRs, and then we can also set priority levels then as well. So when we extract that information for reporting purposes, the functionality allows us to see what the common root causes of the NCRs are in the company, which also allows us to implement corrective actions to minimize issues, increase production, and increase quality of our end product then as well. The next screen recording shows how simple it is to upload a smart PDF into ACC forms and roll it out on all devices. So this is a typical site diary that our foremen complete. When it's submitted, it's sent to myself, our contracts manager, and our CEO. We receive a notification from ACC. From there, we are kept up to date with what's happening on site, but it also it also allows us to keep records of what's happening day to day or week to week on site then as well. And we can look back to see whether there was any issues with material deliveries, any delays, or with resources on site then as well. We've built our own quality install checklist on ACC also. I have numerous checklists that I can show you all later after this presentation as well. And the Autodesk Build app itself has made it very easy to roll that quality system out on site. Last but not least, I would like to show you how easy it is to track progress on our 3D modular units, or on ACC, they're known as assets. This, to me, is one of the most exciting features on ACC. So our factory can hold up to 40 or 50 modular units at any one time, depending on the size of the design. So for the purposes of this presentation, I uploaded 16 assets to this Fairmount Properties project. And they all have varying project statuses. For example, modular assembly complete, second fix electrical complete, the final clean, or FAT ready or FAT complete, factory acceptance test complete. You can see how quick it is to change the progress, and because it is so easy to use that app, it's very easy to get buy-in from direct employees and also from subcontractors who are not used to using this app. Lastly, all this data is very easy to capture on the ACC app, but where does it all go? And how can we utilize it? Well, with Power BI, through the data extraction feature on ACC, you can use ACC's own Power BI templates to create interactive dashboards like this one to track progress, to track the issues on a project, to track quality checklists, whether they're complete or not, reviews, and so much more. The options for this really are endless. I hope you enjoyed that run-through of how we use ACC to streamline our digital information flows. I guess I should finish up by discussing what's next for us at Framespace. We have so much data in Vertex, Parsec, Business Central, along with the data that's captured in ACC. So I'd like to create custom-made Power BI dashboards to help senior management run the day-to-day business. I know that Niall also has some very interesting products with us to share in the coming weeks and months. We're especially focused on calculating embodied carbon on a project-by-project basis, and we will be linking in with Symmetry on this, and I think Shivani has a presentation on that later as well, which I'm looking forward to. And lastly, as we have seen from these slides, Framespace have completed multiple tests for our system build-ups. We have successfully handed over numerous projects. We have the best-in-class digital quality system. We have an exceptional team with extensive knowledge in the LGS sector. So all I can say is watch this space. Thank you very much.